Good morning, dear listeners. Today is Monday, July 3rd, and you are listening to the Fairwinds Broadcast, an amateur short-form news and journalism program about Bastion's people, by Bastion's people, and for Bastion's people. This is our pilot episode, and man, am I excited to get into odd subjects, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I still need to introduce myself. I am your host, Allane, and I'm a recent graduate of the Bastion University campus in the borough of Blackwell. You know, the borough with the giant chasm in the center of it. I graduated with a degree in geography studies and decided to stay since my home borough offers nothing but factory work. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's hard work and it's an honest living, but there's nothing to offer for a recent graduate that studied Earth formations and its impact on people, you know? Unless you plan on working for the bigwigs to map out the next coal mining expedition, but I'm getting sidetracked now, so I apologize. I aspire to join the Bastion Expeditioners Guild someday, or perhaps the archivists at the Bastion Free Library, cataloging the stars above, accessing the mysteries below. That's Library Director Carlman's slogan, and with that, I think we have the perfect segue into today's topic. Plans to create a Bastion-free library back in my home borough have surfaced, which means they've discovered something odd, and they plan to delve and discover its secrets. Dear listeners, we all know everyone dreams of discovering the next big arcanum and getting your own expeditioner's plaque in the guild or the library, unless of course you prefer to stay at home and listen to live broadcasts of college jousting or fencing or cricket. I've never really been one to follow the sports, but I hear that Blackwell's team's finally making out of regional borough brackets and onto the Bastion-wide brackets, which is exciting. Either way, the implications of this all are both wonderful, but also catastrophic for the people. With great discoveries and accessible info to the masses often comes displacements. The library may be city-funded as well as funded out of pocket by the lead director himself, but the bourgeois academics often chase these subject matters and in turn affect local prices by moving en masse and raising house market prices. One example is back when the central boroughs were solidifying their place as the bigwigs in Bastion, and you know how that drove all of our not so filthy rich friends and family out into the outskirts. That was a very brutal time, and it affected my grandparents as well as Ma and Pa. Ma and Pa tell me that our bro's done its best to help each other out with the Free People's Market every first and third Sunday of the month, but that exists independently from the housing market since it's free. And I can only hope that this doesn't leave us without our homes, as it's the only thing that some of us back home have. I can only hope that the guild gives us more jobs, but not as lackeys to the academics and their expeditions. That would be a sad way to go. I don't want to start the day and end the pilot on a somber note though, so let me pivot into a more hopeful subject. The old City Watch station down the street from the university here, the one that was decommissioned last year after Sheriff Friedrich stepped down due to protesting pressure, well, that station has been bought and it's in the process of being renovated into a climbing gymnasium for adult expeditioners and aspiring youth alike. Nobody knows who the new owner is yet, though, but we know that entry is free and rental gear is 10 pennies, or the same as a round of cheap drinks at a bad tavern. That means that the youth can afford to rent out gear every other week or so. Employment forms can be found on site and can be turned into a safe deposit box at the same location. That's it for today's broadcast. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed getting to share things I'm passionate about with you all. Tune in next week for whatever wild things happen, or whatever I'm hyperfixated on. And this is August Allane, wishing my dear listeners a fantastic rest of your week. Fair winds. The Fair Winds broadcast is a fictional, fan-made radio show for the tabletop RPGs Into the Odd and Electric Bastion Land by Chris McDowell. This show is written, voiced, and produced by Andrew Obonse. The Bastion Free Library is a creation of Judd Carlman in his blog over at githyankidiaspora.com. That is githyankidiaspora.com. The intro track is Comic Plotting by Kevin MacLeod, and the outro track is Chromatic Ragtime by Mini Vandals. Tracks featured throughout today's episode are a calm but suspenseful horror soundtrack by Mark Vandermeulen, Just As Soon by Kevin MacLeod, and Unknown Longing by Asher Fulero.